All right, students, I'm going to be going over the questions and such for the page 294, the 5.6 assignment. A couple things going on this one. One is the tables, and two is the find an equation. So for the table ones, you don't need to find an equation. You just need to determine the type and how it's changing. So this one's I want to go over this because some of them are a little more obvious than others. Um, okay, so let's zoom that in there. Okay, so if you look at this, looking at this, how it's changing. Let's see if we can turn this a little bit. There we go. Straighten this out. Sorry about that. Jittery, this. It should resolve itself. Okay, so what we want to look for here is how it's changing. Now, if you start with a decimal, that's not clear. Most people don't think in terms of decimals. So ignore that. Start from 1 to 4. Okay, we added 3, but then from 4 to 16, we added 12. Okay, so it's clearly not adding one, but the other thing we want to check for is it maybe multiplying? Okay, and if it's times 4, which it is, and then times 4, and then times 4, then times 4, this one's actually something called geometric. It's a geometric sequence which we've seen first semester. And the other thing about it is also exponential. Now you're like, well, why have two different names? It's a geometric sequence which would be modeled by an exponential function. Again, why do we have two different names? Honestly, don't know. But when you're talking about the sequence itself, you'd say it's geometric. What type of graph would you use? You would use an exponential graph or an exponential function. Okay, so that's that one. That's what you need to know. It's timesing, timesing, timesing. Let me give you a little bit of help on the next ones. This one, we look from 16, 8, so on, so on, so on. Let's move this down. It's clearly not timesing. Oh, sorry. No, never mind. This one is timesing. So it doesn't look like it's timesing, but it is. Okay. So, well, it's getting smaller. How could it times to get smaller? Doesn't times make it bigger? Well, if you went this way, it's going times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2, times 2. Reversing times 2 is the same as dividing by 2 or multiplying by a half. So that's times a half, times a half, times a half, times a half. Okay. And so that is also, again, geometric. Okay. So far, two of them are geometric. What we want to sort of look at is the next ones. 5 and 6 are a little bit different. We want to talk about those a little bit. Okay. Because these ones clearly are not multiplying. This much we know. There is no multiple that will get you from 4 to 3, but also then get 4 to go to 7. Because that's kind of weird already. It's going down, then it's going up, and then it continues going up. That implies something, but let's see. So let's find the change here. The change is it subtracted 1. But the change here is it added 4. And the change here is it added 9. Change here is it added 14. And change here is added 19. Okay, that doesn't look like there's a pattern, but let's take it down a level. So these are what we call the first differences. Then we take it down to the next level. Okay, -1 to +4. Okay, I think how would you change to get from there to, you would add +5. -1 plus 5 would get you 4. From 4 to 9, 4 plus 5 would give you 9. 9 plus 5 would give you 14. 14 plus 5 would give you 19. So now we got a commonality. So this is the first differences. This is the second differences. Second diff. Okay. Apologize for the ugly spelling there. The second differences. So what that means is it's second degree. Now that's right. Second degree, which means that it's going to be something x squared. Now, not just x squared, obviously, but it might have something inside front or something plus at the end. But in general, we know it's going to be an x squared equation. Because again, first differences weren't the same. Second differences means second degree. That's our rule. Okay? So look for those, just like we did. If it's multiplying, that's one type of thing. If it's not multiplying, look for the addition. If the addition is not obvious, look for the second level. Second level doesn't show it, go down to the third level or fourth level if you need to. At some point, it's got to have something in common. All right, hope that helps, and stay tuned for the next video.